episode of XenoChat Gazette. I am one of the hosts, Tyler, along with Justin.
What's up, guys?
All right, we got two other guests with us today. First up, we have Marie.
Hello.
And we have Nick.
Hello.
All right, we have another issue of the Gazette talking about the latest Xeno Monolith Soft related news. So first up is our, figure corner where we talk about all the latest figure news that are coming out. And there's quite a bit coming out.
There's a lot.
Yeah, we are being fed, and it is awesome.
A bit too much. A bit too much, though. My wallet can keep up.
Right? So
this really figures.
Yeah, first up, we're going to talk about Bart, which last episode we were wondering, when are they going to release that? And lo and behold, Square Enix was like, oh, we heard you, and it's coming out in August. So pre-orders for that are up on AmiAmi.
Yep.
Yes.
And it is,
and most likely other places too. But
right.
AmiAmi is often our first place that we look at.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It wouldn't be surprised if it shows up on Square Enix's website as well. I haven't checked there, but it's probably there.
Oh yeah.
Big Bad Store will probably have them too.
Big Bad Toy Store might have it as well. There's even a chance that it'll even show up on Amazon. But
yeah, it's possible.
It's on AmiAmi.
I wouldn't trust Amazon, but
yeah. We're just giving all the options people might have for this, but we know it's on AmiAmi right now. You can currently pre-order it for 11,880 yen, approximately 79 USD. I'm rounding, so you can get that there. And yeah, he looks all right. I'm not crazy about this particular line of figures. The joints kind of look a bit weird, but
yeah.
I mean, the coloring is fine. The details.
I think the coloring
nice.
and details are pretty nice, but it's just often the Square figurines often have these very apparent joints, and they're not exactly pretty when someone when it's a character that's not wearing clothes, say at the joint like Bart is. It's kind of weird in some angles.
That and the hair always kind of looks like a cheaper sculpt a lot of times. Now this one I will say looks a little better on the hair for sure.
Oh yeah, the sculpt itself is not bad at all. It's just I think my main problem is the joints of the arms.
Yeah, which the saving grace on this one, you have the crossed arms attachment that don't have any joints.
Yeah, at least
which
you
is
have
nice.
that. At least you have that. You can't just be like, oh, screw the arms. I don't need them.
Also, the whips are very nice.
Yes, the whips
are nice, but I wonder how you're gonna make that pose. That one pose that you have there.
Yeah, it sounds like it's gonna be tricky because again, the joints of the Square Enix figures are never too great at movement either.
I have to wonder
which ones. It depends which one, but still.
I kind of have to wonder. I feel like the whips might actually be like wire, have wires in them, so you can twist them
that's
to your
possible.
liking.
That's possible.
That's my guess.
Or it's already
I don't know
in
if it
position,
says.
kinda. I don't know.
No, they're not. They're just I'm looking at the other pictures of them where it shows all the parts just laid out, and they're just a set kind of way. I'm guessing that you can twist them and bend them into shape, and they probably keep that form a little bit because of a wire base or something. I don't see anything in the description for that. Yeah.
But usually, if
if
something
you do that
actually
a lot,
flexible, it should be okay. But
yeah. If they use the right gauge wire, and if you don't overwork it, it will probably be fine. Honestly,
exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And
go on.
I was just gonna say, for what it's worth, I did actually really like the Faye figure in this line. I like that one way more than the Ellie figure. So, if Bart is built in a similar manner to Faye, I think it'll be a decent little figure.
Which reminds me, I still haven't taken Maria out of her box, Choo-Choo.
No, she's suffocating.
Yeah, she's away from Faye and Ellie. I need to
just look at the bright side. It's not Mokaz.
Oh god.
Or maybe that's the downside.
Tyler, I just like to think that Tyler's just using her for stonks, trying to keep her sealed.
Yeah, I'm
sell
thinking
some
about
dude 10 years later for $500.
Thinking about those, yeah.
All those collectors that made so much money off their collection. Not the other way around. It'll be worth so much in so many years,
I think I'm too good of a person. I'm unable to sell something 3 times the value later on. I'd rather just sell it at the price that I paid to someone who really, really wants it.
Right.
I'm too sentimental a person. I just keep it.
Yeah, there's
Right.
there's only
But I
some.
mean, I was saying like if I was to sell something, that's how I would
Yeah,
do it.
yeah, that's fair.
There's only a few figures that I actually keep inside the package, so I'm not like completely like one of those collector
Yeah.
people. But anyway, so
The only
go
Oh, I
on.
was gonna say, I think the only figures I still have in the packages myself are the ones that I don't have room in a display case for. So I'm like, I don't want them to get dusty, so I just
Yeah.
like left them in there
There's a
for now.
couple. There's a
That's
couple of
me.
my Figmas and like the Good Smile minis that I kept in boxes because I didn't want them to pull. I didn't want to pause them again after I moved in, and I just never opened them again.
Yeah, I get
Yeah,
that.
I have one of my Cosmos figures still in her box, but other than that, I probably should remove
Cosmos
her.
and
That will.
pillows are there. They're just kind of anchored, but they're there.
Yeah, I probably should remove her so I can add. That would free up a lot of space on my Xeno
Mhm.
Shrine.
Yeah, one of mine is I've got a big soul bad guy, and he's got a lot of different parts in it, and I'm like, I don't want to get him out until I have a case for him, so I don't have to worry about like him getting all dusty or anything whenever I pose him and set him up,
Yeah.
So that's the only reason for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on, we have not one but two Mio figures we're going to talk about. So they revealed
Mio.
the scale figure for Mio, and she looks quite lovely.
Yeah, she does.
It's kind of like funny because I remember when we saw the initial like molds, and a lot of us were kind of just like, not sure how I feel about this. But now that she's like actually, in color and all that, I think she looks pretty darn solid.
I do like the fact that since it's a figure that's a bit more simple, they did put like more details to the base too, because the
Yeah.
base tends to
Yeah.
be like very, you know, it depends which one, but like for example, like Cosmos had a lot of details and her base was just like a color, you know. So
Right? Yeah. But like the Melia one was really nice.
Melia
'cause it
Melia had
The Melia one
grass.
was
That
really
was
cool.
Melia had
Yeah.
grass,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
and
was
then like
great.
the
It depends
Neo
which-
one just
which
had like
ones.
that. The Neo one had like the blue thing, which I guess is a core crystal, but I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, but I think the Nya they also like cheaped out a bit more on the base there because the character itself
Yes.
had
It's
so much
insane.
details.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
detail is crazy.
But like I do like that the Mio they did do something special around the base, and I do like the details overall. It's just in my case, it's more like part of me is like maybe I'd want it, but at the same time, I'm like, do I want to pay the price of Good Smile figures for this? I don't know yet.
Yeah, for me, it was kind of like when I
Yeah.
first saw it, I was like, I don't think this looks terrible, but I don't think it looks like amazing to the degree where I'm like, I want to spend that much money on it because it was like
Yeah.
the details feel kind of simple and and just like the pose could be better for
Mhm.
her, I think. Like they could have gone with a more iconic looking
Dynamic
pose
thing,
kind of
yeah.
and dynamic kind of thing. But now seeing it in color, like, and I think part of that, I want to say, I do think part of that was just me like, I don't need another one, like a coping kind of mechanism. Like, I don't really need. But now that I'm seeing it in color, especially when they got like the shiny like paint on the jacket, on the like the reflective jacket
Yeah.
and everything, I'm
That's
like,
nice.
oh man, it
They
looks
did a
so
really
good,
job with
actually.
the painting, yeah.
Also, do you guys think that she'll be cheaper than say like Pyra and Mithra?
I
I
hope
don't
so,
think
but I
so
don't think by
because Good
much.
Smile Company always sell like fairly expensive. Maybe by a
Maybe
little
not.
bit, but like not a whole lot, I think.
Yeah,
I think
I've seen
we're
some,
easily like in the $220 or more.
I think that's probably close, yeah.
That's about their regular prices for regular figurines, and then you have other figurines that are more detailed that cost even more.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cosmos, I think was a bit more too.
Yeah, I think so too. That sounds right.
I think she was more in the 250, if not a bit more. I can't remember also because like I'm Canadian, so I see both the Canadian and US price, and then I get confused at which one I saw.
That's understandable.
Looking at this Mio scale, I really like the gradients in her hair. It looks so
Yeah.
cool.
It's really nice when they put that extra like work in on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it's
the paint
cool.
job, like props to the paint job because the
Yeah.
paint job is really fantastic.
It's phenomenal.
That's kind of what made it. That's kind of
Yeah,
what
it's
like
doing a
sold
lot of the
us.
heavy lifting here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
Because with the sculpt, it looked very bland, but now that we see
it's
her in life with like all the colors, like they really did a good job with it.
makes it pop.
Man,
Yeah.
some of these scale figure prices are all over the place nowadays. Also, like because like some of them are still in that like that like the 20,000 yen place, and then you'll look at some that look just as simple, and they'll be like 40,000. Of course, I think there's
Are they
like
writing somewhere how much is gonna be? Not yet, right?
I don't
They didn't
think
announce
they
the
have yet,
price, to
no.
my knowledge, at
Okay.
least.
there's no date
Probably
yet.
soon, though.
Is there?
We're probably gonna know soon.
Yeah. There's no pre-order date
None of
either.
that yet. I'm actually looking on
But
Good
it's
Smile site
for
right
sure
now.
minimum $200 because it's always around that price.
Probably, yeah.
Minimum.
But if you don't want to spend $200 and you still want Mio on your shelf, there's another option for you because we got the Figma of Mio.
That's coming
So,
soon.
That
hope
is
you already
coming
ordered it.
very soon.
Oh my
It
God.
is
I
still
just-
available for pre-order at the moment on AmiAmi.
Oh, okay, good.
And it is 9,960 yen, approximately 66 USD. I'm rounding down. So, yeah,
That's
this
I
probably
see
a
this
good
price
guess.
and I'm just
Nice,
like a
yeah.
bit depressed because I'm just like I remember the days when Figmas used to be like a lot cheaper. Oh God, how did it come too close to? Well, it's not quite 100, but it's close.
Yeah. So does anybody have this pre-ordered?
I actually don't have
I
it
do.
pre-ordered.
I don't have it pre-ordered, but
I
it's
do,
also
actually.
because I'm not very fond of Figmas. I did not get good experience with Figmas, so
I have
the
one
joints tend to
Figma.
get loose over time, and they tend to be very cheap. So, like if they were still
And
the
it's fine.
price they were like back in the day, or like a bit lower, I would consider it. But at this price, for the quality they often have, meh.
I have one
But
Figma,
that's
and it's
just me.
fine
That's
so
just me.
far.
That's a very anti-Figma.
Oh
Yeah, I know. I'm like I don't think that they're best either, but I feel like as far as like
They're fun
actual
though. It's fun that they're doing them though for people who enjoy action figures and stuff. But
I
I
don't
do
think
wish that a lot of their quality would be a bit better.
I think as far as action figures go, they're actually pretty decent quality wise, but that's only compared to other action figures.
I
Like
think it also depends on the figures. So like Meow should not be too bad because her accessories are so very light. They're small. But like something like say Cosmos is just like, oh
Yeah, that
yeah,
would be
try
rough.
to hold this big like accessory. No, the joint will give in. The joint just gonna be nope.
I do like how they gave the option for the long hair for Mio.
Yeah, I think that's pretty
Yeah,
nice.
that's
nice.
pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I
That's
that is
really
cool.
cool. And it does look like the way you pop it in, like it does feel like you can maybe move it a little bit too, depending, but I'm not sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a very the Mule Figma does look pretty neat though. And I do hope that the joints are better than what I remember of the last few Figmas I had. But yeah.
they're not going to be perfect, but
Yeah.
you know, like for
But
an
like I
action
said,
figure, they're not terrible.
She has small accessories, so she should be fine.
Yeah.
It's more like more complex Figmas that often have issues,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
and often like accessories sometimes. Like the other thing with Figmas, and I've noticed Figmas and Android have this issue sometime where like you'll have an accessory that goes in some hole they did, and then it's just not gonna fit the hole, and you have it's just like I've
I've
had
only-
this happen more than once. I'm just like, oh god.
I've only had that experience on what turned out to be bootleg Nendoroids, but yeah, like
I had it on real
Unfortunate.
ones.
I've
and
also
it was
had
not
it
fun.
on a couple real ones as well.
Yeah.
It's the big reason why like I don't like them because like it's just there's always issues and I don't have patience for it.
Not to
Yeah.
join the hate on Figma bandwagon, but I have a Telos that I'm always afraid to pose because it's just like if I pose her just right, something's just gonna fall off. So
Yeah, mine is like, oh yeah, I don't want to really hold my gun and it's falling.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think I had some other part that was trying to fall sometimes, and it's not. They're okay, but like also like Telos and Cosmos are also very complex. So like
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm
there's
also
more
gonna.
parts that are like kind of dangerous to fall off, or that like the figure will not be able to handle the weight of the accessory kind of thing.
I think this may also be a your mileage may vary based on lots of factors aside from just even
100%.
the complexity of the figure because every one of them you guys are bringing up seem to be like much older ones and I've got like a fairly new one
Well,
by
Well, that's
the
good to
comparison and
last
hear.
it's
the last few
kind of
ones
feels like
that
they
I
might have gotten better.
the last few ones I had gotten were I think I don't think I had. Did I have an Attack on Titan one? I can remember because, like I said, like the leftovers of my other Figmas are like left in boxes.
The one I
But
have is from maybe a
but
year ago.
yeah, I did have
Year
issues
and
with
a
the
half.
Attack on Titan androids, but it's mostly because again the accessories were
Oh,
kind of complex and weird, and they would not
Nendoroids, I've
fit the
got
holes.
way more recent ones. I was talking about Figma, but yeah, like when Nendoroids, I've always been kind of fine with, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I get that
Yeah.
though.
But
Okay.
I'm glad to know that maybe the Figmas have come around to be a bit
Mhm.
better because like they used to have like a lot of issues. I still don't trust the holes for accessory under those figures, but
Mine's held a pose for a good long while now because I have not moved it
oh,
in
holding
quite
a
some.
pose is not a problem. Often the issue is more so the attachment of accessories and other stuff like that.
Yeah, I get
I
that.
think my bigger issue with these figures is that unfortunately for a lot of like female characters, they'll make like the arms and legs so tiny,
Yeah,
and then that makes it really hard for them to like keep their balance,
yeah,
and that
it
really
does.
Hmm.
sucks. And that's probably one of the bigger things I'm concerned with this one is like getting her to balance properly for some of these poses.
Yeah, especially if
Hopefully
you
they
had
do.
were to had the long hair, she might get a bit too heavy for the legs and
Yeah,
stuff.
and then I also wonder if how easy it'll be to get her stand in with the hair too. I've had that
Yeah.
issue with Nendoroids where the hair
Yeah.
basically blocks it. Like, I think it was the Toon Zelda Nendoroid. I actually don't have her on her stand because it's easier for me to just stand her up like normal because like her little dress just stands up.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
that's the problem I had with Telos. Her long hair made it awkward for me to put the stand in the back, and yeah,
mhm.
I get that.
So I have that.
Yeah.
Like with Figmas themselves, sometimes it really
I think
depends.
it's more hit.
I think I only have two Figmas because I don't buy Figmas super often. I have the A Link Between Worlds Figma, which is actually really good. I really like that one, and I also got the Kiryu one from Yakuza or Like a
Nice.
Dragon,
Nice.
and I don't like that one.
Oh no,
I was
Dang.
actually really disappointed by it
that is
because
sad.
Yeah, I wondered about those more realistic character
and it's
Figmas.
yeah, and it's like I wasn't crazy about the detail and his face, and I know like they gave him some cigarettes as like accessories, and it's like the tiniest little thing. It's like
Oh
barely
my
even
god,
shaped
that's
like a
the
cigarette.
worst.
It's
Hmm,
so bad.
that is
I'm
not
not a
good.
fan of that figure like at all, and I was really sad about that. I'm like, oh man, this would be so cool to have like Kiryu, and I could pose him with like
That
some of my little mini arcades,
that
and
reminds me. I
I'm
have a
so
figure that's
disappointed by
like
it.
a maid version of a character, and she has like little donuts in a little tray, but like
Hmm.
the donuts are loose. So like I
Oh
think a
What?
lot
no.
of them or
Oh
something. At some
no.
point, they're loose. They're not like. I'm like, why didn't you guys just stick it to the tray? Like it's just. Oh my god.
So,
Uh,
that being said, to kind of transition from that,
yes.
because we have another Figma, we have the Uni Figma, which unfortunately, a lot of the concerns I had with Mio, I think are double with Uni, considering
It's gonna
her
be worse.
weapon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise she looks great. I like Uni a lot. A lot of us like Uni.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I would otherwise be pretty excited for this. I just need to know how well she's going to be able to stand up, especially with the weapon. It might not be so bad if they include like an additional stand for that. So like,
Yeah.
let's say you want her to get her into a pose where she's like shooting it. I think having an additional stand could help.
You know
But
what? If they do this, which I'm not saying they should, but like this brings to mind, like, yeah, there's a likelihood we'll get probably the at least Figmas of the Xenoblade 3 girls at this point. I'm like hoping for Santa. That'd be cool. But man, if they do happen to make the guys too and they make a tie-on, I just want a scale figure
I
because
want
I
to
don't want
too.
I
Oh
don't
my
want those I
God,
want
I
those
would so
talismans to be
buy it.
arranged. I want those talismans to be arranged. I don't want that to be some fucking like bullshit with loose talismans in an action figure. That would be so bad. Like,
Oh my goodness!
just make
please
him a scale figure. Make
please
Ty-on
make a
scale
Ty-on
figure.
scale figure and
Yes.
like have the
Also,
make
get the
more
talismans in a cool
dudes.
pose. Go crazy with this scarf.
Yeah.
Like you
Yes.
could make something so cool with
Oh my
Ty-on.
God, yes.
Also, my personal request: make all the Ouroboros. Make all of them.
all of them.
Just make all of them. I want all of them.
You know what would be cool with the Ouroboros though? Like actual like high quality kit or something, because they're basically close to mechas.
Yes, I think that'd be great. Honestly, though, you want to talk about losing small parts, though. Yeah, I mean it's different with kits, but
It's different with kits though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of robots, our last figure is a new Veltal figure. Apparently, I actually missed this news when it first dropped.
Yeah, I was like, isn't it the same thing? I was like so confused. I was just like, why are they making Waltall again?
Yeah, I
Is he just
Another
like
kit?
bigger or something? Like
He-
I don't
he-
I don't understand.
he does look pretty
This is a
thick.
formism.
Yeah, it does look like it has more details, so it's possible that the scale is higher, but
Yeah.
is this a kit or a figurine? That's the thing.
That I don't know.
It looked like a kit. I don't know, though.
What is
But I
the
think it might be a
formism?
figure.
I don't know. I don't.
It
I'm
looks
not
like
familiar
it
with the
might be a
formism
kit, but at the same time, like it depends
let
if
me
it's
look up formism.
they might do like pre-assembly kind of thing too.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Oh. It looks nice. But
No,
yeah.
I think this.
Oh,
I'm trying to see this. Actually, this might be a scale.
oh, okay.
Hold on, because I see the formism near automata, and that isn't posable.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, I'm not familiar with the formism line for Square. So I'm sorry about that, folks. I just
Oh,
don't
no,
really
no.
know.
It's
Yeah, I'm not either.
But yeah, another Veltal. I mean,
Yeah,
I know
it's
we
possible
were.
it's scale because now that I look closely, you can look at the joints and it's not really joints, it's actually
Mhm.
like just there. It's possible that it's just a scale that you just have the usual shitty square stands in the background. I don't like the square stands, but you
Oh,
know
like a lot of
these
the square figures.
yeah this one does not seem to have joints that can move. So yeah, I think it's a scale.
yeah. I think it,
And for what it's worth, I did really like the Bring Arts Veltal that came out. That's actually
They-
pretty darn nice.
Mhm.
All of
Oh
their
yeah,
robot
the
figures have
bring
been
out
great.
Weltal was really solid.
Oh yeah.
And the
Yeah.
Veltal id. They both have been great, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Veltal id is
my
especially
only
good.
issue with it was like I did not understand how to attach it to the stand, and it was just like what the fuck.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
that's
like
right.
Bob did tell me like, oh yeah, you can remove a part to access it. I was like, wow, they
Yes.
made that so clear.
Yeah, they don't really have any instructions in that. I don't believe.
There
if I
is
remember right.
instructions,
Was
but
there?
it's
I
not
couldn't
clear. It
remember.
was just like pointing an arrow toward the area, but it was not telling you to remove a part. It
Put
was like
peg and ass,
question
yeah.
mark. So he's just been awkwardly standing there in my display
I
case.
couldn't remember. It's been so long because I've had mine like up in my case like since I got it. Basically, I figured it out pretty. Like it did take me some time to figure that out, but yes, I
Yeah,
did.
just since it was a pre-built robot, I was like not thinking about removing parts because I thought I would break something.
Mhm.
So it was just like it was not very intuitive for them to like not give instruction of how to do it.
Nah.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially like each kit and each robot will have often it's often more or less a similar area, but like they'll often have different like areas where you will clip the robot on.
Yeah, makes sense.
right. Well, that was all the
So-
new figures, but
Yeah, new figures, but we got news on a pre-existing figure, sort of figure. I guess that counts figures. So, two things. One, Nintendo made a post on Twitter about how they have finally completed the amiibo line for Super Smash Bros. 10 years of this nonsense, folks.
Oh yeah, because it started with 4 or Smash 4 Wii and
Yes, it was
3DS,
2014 was when all of this craziness started.
Yes,
That could be another
Amiibos
episode
I
talking about
barely
amiibos,
ever
but
see.
yes.
I barely ever see them in Canada. It's great.
The longest Toys to Life business game ever.
Yeah.
Amiibo.
Yeah, an entire decade of this nonsense, guys. And quite a few of the amiibo, not all of them, don't get too excited, are up in stock on Nintendo's website, and that included the Shulk amiibo. However, checking it now, it is actually sold out of Nintendo's website, but as of this recording, Target still has it on their site right now, so you can get it for $15.99 on either Target, or if Nintendo has it again, you can get it $15.99 over there as well. And you can also get the new Sora amiibo, which is the last one of the Smash Bros. But yeah, they have a few other ones. Just naming off a couple other ones, like they have Joker, they have the Kirby, they have Falco, Fox, Banjo Kazooie, Isabelle, Mega Man, Olimar, the first Samus amiibo.
There's a
Snake,
there's a
Villager,
few on
Zerg
Amazon
Samus,
as well.
Terry.
Still available.
Yeah, Amazon actually had a decent amount of amiibo for a while. I don't know if they still do.
I just looked and it was like, yeah, they've got a few up there that like probably various sellers and stuff, but you know,
Yeah.
they're there. I guess Walmart has it too. Apparently.
But like, I'm looking at Amazon
Yeah,
right now,
they
and
do.
it looks like
It's a
the
little
Amazon
expensive.
listings are a little bit more than what
Oh.
these things like initially retail for. Because I think, if I remember correctly, they initially retailed at $12.99. I think.
Yeah, they went up in price over time.
Yeah.
Cause here, like a regular amiibo here is like in the $20.
oof.
Yeah,
You
depending on where you go. Well, I mean, most are going to
Well,
be
it's also
about
because it's
20,
the
15 to 20
exchange.
now.
Because now, like in the States, they're
Yeah.
like a lot closer to $20. So for us, it goes over $20. So it depends which ones, but a lot of them are like, you know, more around like 17, 18 or something. I think in the States now, ish.
Mhm.
So for us, it's like in the 20s, and then you add the taxes to that. Yeah.
It's supposed to be 15 at retail, I believe, still, but yeah, it depends a lot of factors.
It
Mhm.
probably depends on each one and their details too. Like some of them are sold like a lot more than some others.
Yeah, I mean, like finding amiibos at prices almost feels like going to yield and bartering pull anymore. Anyway, like I mean, it's felt that way for years, but
Yeah, well, I never buy them at like I never buy them at like the price of Scalpers. I refuse.
Good.
oh no, I know, but like even walking into any like retail store, they're not necessarily going to be like their original MSRP kind of thing anymore. Like they'll be like, oh, it will range depending on how rare it is, because all the retailers also, you know, they know what's going on with that to a degree. Especially if you walk into like a smaller like mom and pop shop style thing, like game store or something, they're going to be like, if you even have any of those, they're going to be like, oh, it's going to range.
I will say, I think like it's interesting to look back on Amiibo. I know we're getting on a little tangent here, but I'll just say this real quick. I think Amiibo is fascinating because it's an interesting like case study on how internet hype can just completely manipulate something. Because I distinctly remember when these things got announced, most
Yeah.
people didn't give a shit about them.
Yeah.
Like the reaction to it was, "Oh, really? You're just making freaking dumbass toys, and they're not even like doing anything significant." Nobody cared, and
Well,
then
some people definitely did, but
some people definitely did. But like most people weren't going out of their way to buy these things
Yeah.
or scalp these things. It wasn't until It wasn't until I guess got a slightly smaller print run, and then people started spreading rumors that they were discontinued, that people started to rush out and buy these things.
Yeah, I think at most people on them were like, "Oh, cool! We have the ability to now own merch of Nintendo characters that have never had it before, and it's like decent, like a decent kind of thing." It was like, oh, it was like there was plenty of interest. It was just like a mild interest at best because it was just like, oh yeah, this.
Just like whatever.
But then it blew super out of proportion, of course, because of just the market and shit like that.
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of internet rumors were going out. Rumors that I don't even think were even founded in any kind of like reality. I don't even think there was even evidence for it. But I remember, I distinctly remember this. People were starting to say these were discontinued, even though there was no evidence for that, other than a store sold out of them.
I think it happens a lot depending on where you are. Like I know, like in Canada, it was very hard. Even when it was like the big hype, and we still had like a decent stock here and there. Like it was still very hard to get like any kind of extra popular or niche ones. Like it was so hard to get them here. Because in general, Canada always had less stock, but now the shops don't even try to keep stock so much anymore. So like it's even harder to get them. It's like you get them a pre-order or, well, too bad. And even then, like it's like the pre-orders are so limited here. It's hell. So that's why I'm really thankful to have you guys in the States because because I can be like, power friendship, please help me.
Well, what's good is that like because we're kind of past the peak of like the amiibo craze.
Yeah.
It's actually easy to pre-order them because for a while you couldn't even pre-order them.
Yeah.
Because like and again, there's receipts of this, folks. Game stores had like flyers on the front door where they would hand write how many of a certain amiibo they would have at that location. There are pictures of this online. You can find them. This actually happened. Like, because that's how crazy it was. People were going to all these stores. People were using all sorts of UPC trackers. There was threads upon threads of people trying to help each other get these things. It was so insane. Crazy. And again, it all started because of a few internet rumors that people started spreading. And then I remember some websites started publishing articles about that and saying that these are discontinued. Go buy them now.
Yeah.
So I definitely think there will be like some deep dive video in the next like year or two of somebody going into what I'm talking about right here and how interesting of a time the amiibo race was.
Yeah, it was the Amiibo Wars. It was crazy.
Well, they're in stock now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Don't know for how long, but they are.
Yeah. Also in stock, it looks like the Xenogears kits are still in stock. Is that right?
Yeah, they're still available for order. Like they're not like at order stop yet, so that means people can still order them.
Yeah, see our kit building episode for our experience building those kits.
Very slow.
Honestly, they're pretty decent. They're pretty decent, I think.
Yeah. And then also the Xenoblade acrylic stands are still available as well. Which
yeah,
I was looking and
most of them are still in stock.
Yeah, I was looking and I guess I forgot that they did some for Future Redeemed.
Yeah, they did. It's just like the only issue I have with acrylic standees is that I need to pair them with something, or like I feel like the shipping is not worth it.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean
that makes sense.
The shipping used to be super cheap for small items like that, but nowadays it's just like no matter it's small or big, your shipping is still gonna be like crazy high. It's so crazy.
Sucks.
Like I remember back in the day, I was ordering figurines from Japan with like the cheapest like her parcel thing, and it was costing me like, I don't know, like $10, $20 max with shipping. Now it's like, oh yeah, you have a big box of figurine. All right, it's gonna cost you like $50-$70 in shipping.
Yeah, it only goes up too.
And then you're like, oh, you also have custom fees to pay. You know?
I had like
So,
such a
yeah.
big order, like of
It-
just like
it's
that. I
it's a lot.
packaged a bunch of stuff together, and it was probably still cheaper to get them sent together. But man, just as a whole, it was a lot more than I expected.
Oh
Just to
yeah,
ship
I
them.
did that in December. I had like this
Yeah,
gigantic
that's what it
order
was.
come in.
Yeah, pretty much. I had a huge box.
And that's why, like, at that time I did order some East and little acrylic, but it's because they were coming out the same month as all of my other things, so it was just like, okay, it's worth it then. True,
Yeah,
true a
yeah.
few in there.
True
So
enough.
yeah.
All right. Okay, so that concludes our figure corner. Now, let's go on to so for Xenogears 26th anniversary for the Japanese release. The soundtrack's available now for streaming. Like it's available on Spotify and Apple, and I'm not certain what else, but it's there. That's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, more game
It's fun.
soundtracks are making it to Spotify, I've noticed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, they have been for quite a while, but it just depends on the publisher.
Yeah. Square's
Every
been
single time.
Square's been pretty good. Well, I know they have like a lot of the Final Fantasies on there.
Yeah, they started with Final Fantasy, I think,
Mm.
mostly.
Yeah, so this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Sega, Capcom, Arc System Works definitely has all their stuff on there.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me that Square Enix would be also. I've seen which that's part of Sega, but I've seen some Atlas stuff on there for sure. Like you can listen to all the Persona and a lot of the SMT soundtracks, if not all of them as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. It's nice, but yeah,
it is very nice, and Xenogears
Good time
has
to-
an amazing soundtrack. So yeah.
nice that we live in a time period where those are at least somewhat available to people.
Exactly. You don't have to buy some CD that's
You don't have to import a $100 CD
Yeah.
set or something.
that is
Yeah, it's cool
really
that they're
nice.
available.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is the month of at least older Xeno birthdays, because yeah, Xenogears turned 26, and yesterday of this recording, so on February 15th, Xenosaga Episode 2 North American release celebrated its 19th anniversary. Yeah.
Woo! The second game's almost 20 years old. How do we feel about that?
I'm mostly gonna be upset when Episode 3 turns 20, but oh well, that's just around the corner.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Insert
not
some
too
copia,
far.
maybe at the 20th anniversary of Xenosaga 3, they're gonna release
Oh, you're funny.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I would.
I know it's not gonna happen. I was just like, yeah, let's just have some pain together right now.
If anything, we might get a new figure. That's what it seems like these days.
I mean, I'm always down for new figures.
Yeah, me too. If it's
My wallet disagree a bit about that, but you know.
I know there's a ton of Cosmos figures, but I'll give me all the
I wouldn't
Cosmos
say
figures.
honestly to a newer version of like Cosmos Episode 3 or like any of the older Cosmos, because like the technology around figurines came up so much in quality that I'm just like I'd be curious to see what they would do today.
That would be yes. Though we
I would too.
Who knows?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would too, but at the same time, I also would like to see them do another character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
But
yeah.
we all know that if they do anything Xenosaga,
It's gonna
always
be
gonna be
it's gonna
Cosmos.
Cosmos.
Yeah. If they did someone else, that would be cool. Like if they did
Yeah. Give us
They-
Ziggy. Give us Ziggy.
Give us Ziggy.
Yeah, definitely give
Or
us Ziggy.
just give us
Cowards.
Shion.
Give us
Shion
Ziggy.
Give us
would be
Shion,
great,
too.
Give us Shion, yeah.
Shion would be
A
great
Shion
too.
scale statue. Oh, yeah.
But Ziggy would be cool.
well,
Yeah, Ziggy's butt.
well, let's feel
Um,
even older because at the end of this month, on February 25th, Xenosaga 1 turns 21 in North America, and February 28th, it turns 22 in Japan.
I'll drink to that.
It'll turn 22 in Japan.
How are PS2 games already 20-something years
Right.
old, guys?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like it was yesterday. I'm just like, how is it? And then like I hear about like PS1 games being like 30, 40 years old or whatever. I don't know. Like I'm always like, what?
I'm
3D
telling you,
Maybe that's weird
fellas,
for me.
you got to be careful. You got to be careful, fellas.
3D
You could be
gaming is retro.
you could be talking to someone, having a drink with them, and they weren't even born when the PS2 came out.
Don't say that. No.
Oh my god.
That
Don't make me feel older.
that gets tough. That gets tough.
You got to be careful out there, folks.
Especially with like how much more popular video games they were
Yeah.
when we were growing up. Like you could just be talking to anybody thinking, oh yeah, this person's probably about my age, and then find out that they're 10 years younger than you or something, and I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
And they haven't played exactly the same order because of that.
Yeah.
So-
But
though to be honest, it's often
they just
kind of
watched a YouTuber
interesting.
play it.
It's
That
often
or,
kind of
like-
interesting to see like
Twitch streamer.
how like people who are a bit younger than us, like how they come either in the Xenoseries or any other game series that we might have followed for
Right.
a while.
If
Like it's
anything
always
brings-
interesting to see like what order they got
yeah,
into it.
so yeah, nothing against younger
Yeah.
fans. It's just they have a
no,
different
not at all.
experience, and it's
we
cool
just
to.
feel like grandpa and grandma.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's
it's just
like
We feel old. We're the problem.
it's
So-
definitely an us problem. Yeah.
So I was watching a video. This is going on a slight tangent again, but I was watching a
No, that's
video
fine.
about
That's what
As
it's
usual.
I was watching a video about fighting games and about how certain older fighting games just aren't on modern consoles, like even big ones just aren't on modern consoles. And a person made a point that like you see like game rooms at conventions, and they were saying that for a lot of people, like those little like game rooms at conventions or just like the random TVs that have set up at like Evo or a fighting game tournament, that could be a person's first and only chance to play some of those games on like real hardware. And like I think about that sometimes because I know I've definitely like spoken to people who have never touched like an NES controller, for instance, or
Well-
like or even like a or even something newer like a Super Nintendo. There's people I know who just never have had the opportunity to play those things. And for somebody my age, I'm like, I think, well, everybody's clearly had this. We all grew up with this stuff. We all had, we've all had it or had a cousin who had it. So like clearly everybody knows what this is. But the reality is we're getting to a point where no, that is not the case. And those people are getting older and older and older too.
But
So-
you know, that also makes sense, especially with fighting games, because those are so prone to crossovers, and it may not even be full crossovers. Like it doesn't have to be a Capcom versus SNK
Yeah.
to just be stuck in licensing hell because you've got you've got like one or like even more guest characters that are just from different series that they have to relicense all of them or scrub them from the game. And easier said than done a lot of times, or most of the time, more not even necessarily that it's that hard so much as is it worth the effort in the first
Yeah.
place, like monetarily, for a company to re-release this with, oh, we can't release what, like for instance, what if they were like, hey, we're bringing back Soul Calibur 4 or something, but we can't because Star Wars or something
But
like
the
that.
problem is the video was saying that like it's not even like licensed stuff, like even games like let's say the original Tekken, that can be kind of tricky to play on a modern console today because there aren't really ports of that on modern consoles at least.
I mean,
or like-
is there even a port of Tekken 3 other than I think the PlayStation Mini has one?
Yeah, the PlayStation Mini has a port of it, but
Which is
yeah,
not even a port, really. It's just
Tekken kind of brings me back. I have that on PS1, I think.
you know, and
Speak-
again, Tekken's like a bigger franchise. That's not only is it a bigger franchise, it just got a new game that's doing like insanely well. So
Yeah.
like that's the
Yeah, back
instance
in the
of a
day,
game that doesn't even
I-
have the licensing issues except for 3. But
I think
It's
I
doing
had
very well,
like
and the community likes
Tekken
it.
and Bloody Roar on my PS1.
Bloody
I
Roar.
can-
Bloody Roar.
It's
Heck
been
yeah.
forever, but like, yeah.
yeah, so I guess it's interesting how like you know we have older and older people today that haven't been able to experience some of the games that we grew up with. You know, the
Yeah.
PS2 that came out in 2000, where it's now 2024. So you potentially have like 23-year-olds who may have never even seen a PS2 in their life before, or they never held a PS2 controller. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I am going on so many tangents tonight.
No,
Fine,
it's
you're
fine. I mean,
Here's
like,
one
this is
more-
interesting
here's
stuff.
One
And, like-
final tangent that has to do with the PS2 specifically, because it relates to something that happened to me a couple days ago. So, we just did the Valentine's Day bash on Retro Roulette, and one of the games I was playing on it was Tulip. And I was playing it on real hardware, right? Because I do have a copy of the game. I do have the hardware. I was going to play that, stream it, whatever.
There's a PS3 version, but
there is a PS3 version, release. But yes. I had 2 controllers in my apartment. Both of them failed on me. They have buttons that don't work. I tried to clean them. I tried to fix them. They just wouldn't work. And
owning a console is now arcade restoration. Congratulations.
Unironically. So I was looking this up. Like, apparently PS2 controllers are known to fail now. Because they're just old and the pressure sensitive buttons they wear out. And they wear out on the board. So it's more than just like you have to just clean it. If the board itself could start failing. And something I've noticed is that a lot of like the retro game stores around me, they actually don't stock that many PS2 controllers. And I always thought that was kind of weird. They have a lot of the third-party ones or like aftermarket controllers that are coming out now, and many of them aren't very good. There's a couple decent ones, but most aren't the best. And so I was looking for a new PS2 controller to do the stream. And so I called up, about 5 or 6 places around me, just different retro game stores. And most of them didn't have any first-party PS2 controllers in stock. And then one guy said, "Oh, I got one, and I'll sell them, but it's going to be $50." And I'm not paying $50 for a PS2 controller. And the guy's just like, "Oh, but it's really hard to find one with all the inputs working because they die out, and I'm going to make sure that it's all working. I'm going to test all the buttons for you." And it took a lot for me to say, fuck off. I didn't. I just said, thank you, hung up. I ultimately was able to find another one. There's a guy I know, shout out to Paul. He owns this game store near me, and he thankfully had one left. And yeah, he only had one. He had one PS2 controller left. And
well, you are in a very rural area. I'm just kidding.
Didn't charge me anywhere near as much as the other person did. It was a lot cheaper, thank goodness. And so I was able to get it. But the PS2, right? It's one of the best-selling consoles of all time, and I can't find a controller for it.
Yeah.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
So even if kids today are out trying to buy PlayStation 2s, right? Now they run into that issue where they don't know if the controllers actually work.
Though I imagine that we're probably gonna see some converter to make other controller work. So
they do exist already, and in fact, I'm actually gonna buy one soon. Brook, for instance, make a lot of adapters. They have this one line called the Wingman, and they have those for most old consoles actually. So you can buy a Wingman, so you can use a PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 controller.
Adapters are the console. Saviors for things like that.
yeah, for sure. Those are great. I am probably gonna be buying one of those really soon, just so I have backup. But yeah, to Tanuki's point, playing old games is now becoming arcade restoration. This is the kind of crap that's happening right now. So
yeah, it's real homebrew. I was gonna say, Justin. So, interesting thing on your earlier tangent. Guess what the oldest Tekken you can buy on current consoles is?
Probably 6. I'm gonna guess.
No, not even 7.
So you can't even buy Tekken 6.
Yeah, you can't even get 6 or Tag Tournament 2 on current consoles unless you still consider Wii U a current console, which no one does. But that, the last release of Tekken before I think 7 that was even close was Wii U Tekken Tag Tournament 2. I was that's speaking wild. Of which, if you, Tekken kind of makes those big bucks lately, and if anything, if there's anything good about that looping back to Xeno stuff, it's that hey, if they have the power to re-release any Xenosaga stuff, it will be because of the money they're probably making off stuff like Tekken.
That is very true, honestly.
Which is really nice. I'm glad to see the Tekken series is doing so well, because for a while it felt like it wasn't, and it really came back with 7. I think people really underestimate, because fighting games are kind of a niche genre in general, to go on another small tangent. But besides Smash Brothers, what's the next best, or what's the next best seller, if not even better seller? It's Mortal Kombat. But Tekken is actually getting up there with it, because Tekken 7 sold over 10 million copies. That's like
Yeah.
Nintendo level money.
And since you brought Mortal Kombat, just to kind of go back to what I was talking about, Mortal Kombat's another example where people just like they can't really play the original Mortal Kombat on modern consoles. I think the most modern console you can play Mortal Kombat on is like an arcade 1-up. And I do believe there is a PC version that you can still get codes for on some sites, but other than that, you can't really play the original Mortal Kombat. And that's not like a niche game. There was a big game back in its day, and the franchise is huge, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting what's happening with some of these games. And to kind of go off about how, to bring it back to Zeno, we're coming up on when Xenoblade Cross's servers are shutting down, because that's going to be happening on April 8th.
Yeah.
Not looking forward to that.
So yeah, once that's done, no one's gonna be able to play this game online anymore. So people buy this game used down the line, and they want to experience it,
Officially.
or at least try the online functionality. One, they can't get the patches unless they hack their Wii U. Two, they're not gonna be able to play online with people because yeah. But I think what I think is gonna end up happening with this game though is while it sucks that it's shutting down, I think people are going to be making a custom service for it, and I believe that's already a thing on the 3DS right now.
I was going to say, Justin, now's a good time to slyly hint at there's some people developing a thing called Pretendo Network.
Yeah. That's what it's called. Yep, that's exactly what it's called.
Look into that.
Yeah, yeah, because that already exists for 3DS, and I know you can play games like Kid Icarus Uprising.
I think it's in like a beta or alpha stage for the Wii U, actually. So, like, you can actually, if you have a certain thing involving the Wii U that you can check out your games on, and starts with a C, that you might be able to look and see like if there's a beta available of that. Well, I think you can also check it out through hacking your Wii U, but
yeah, which is at the end of the day, I think that's going to be the way people continue to play some of these games down the line. It's going to come down to folks modding their consoles.
Yeah. As far as how into that we should get,
that's
that's a topic.
Don't worry, we're not gonna get too deep into it. But it's just we're speaking.
It's definitely possibilities because like people will not have a way to do it like normally anymore.
Yes.
So of course, like fans will develop stuff.
Yep. At least I'm glad that we are at least in a place as like a video game community where even there's tons of fans of video games that are homebrewing their own shit to keep things alive. And what I know we're going off on a lot of tangents on this episode, but what are video game shows for if not for tangents?
I know, for real.
We're just begging for a remaster of Xenosaga the same way Harada is begging for more Virtua Fighter, okay? That's all we're here to do.
Yeah.
Yes, give us Xenosaga Remaster, and Xenoblade X on modern consoles would be nice too.
Give us more reasons to make these episodes on XenoChat.
We want to give you money. We want to give you money.
Yeah.
Why won't you take our money?
We ask for nothing. We just want to give.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like all these figurines that come out and that ruins my wallet. I will ruin my wallet there too.
Given I know we've gone into this many times before, but given Square Enix's stance on things, on like bringing back all their old stuff, I still think
have a chance.
It's only a matter of time.
That's how I feel, and I felt that way for a long time.
It's Namco tends to forget about IPs, so I don't have high hopes. But Xenogears, I have high hopes that
and especially
it will be ported again.
Yeah,
I think Gears will come back.
Yeah, with the soundtrack on streaming platforms, that's also a good sign there, or at least.
Yeah, I feel like they've been giving Xenogears more and more attention lately, so I feel like there's a chance something's brewing in the background.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I'm thinking that there are more Xenogears figures than there are Xenoblade figures point. Just
Oh
about.
yeah.
Actually,
oh, yeah,
there are.
They
There
made a
absolutely are.
lot with the mechas.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
that there's that.
Oh yeah.
I think that there's that is a good sign of Xenogears will return.
Mhm.
And like it's
Yeah.
been getting a good amount of support too, so like I think they're gonna see like, oh yeah, people really want this. Okay, maybe we should port the game soon.
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know?
Like I don't know if it's gonna be like a full on remake or anything like that, but
I don't know that it will.
I
I
think just-
definitely think it'll be a
honestly-
remaster at least.
Remaster.
I honestly, I wouldn't mind a remaster, but at the same time, if they can't do it, I wouldn't mind either if it's just like a port to newer things. Because
Mhm.
like, I feel like a port to PC, for example, would be nice, but also
Yeah.
to like more modern console. But just in general, more modern things. Because right now it's just stuck on PS3 and PSP.
Hmm
So
Yeah, the newest console you can play it on is a Vita at the moment. So
Yeah. Which I
My highest hope, my pipe dream for Xenogears, the highest I'll go with that is if they did like a Octopath Live Alive style remake of it. That would be like incredible,
HD2D
but
would
that's-
be great.
that's a like
at the
that's
same
kind of like
time,
that's almost laughable to me.
At
But
the
at the
same
same
time,
time, Live Alive exists, so
I feel like I would still prefer them to have a more painterly kind of look because, like, like Xenogears sprites and even the world was kind of a bit more like it looked like it was more painted than like like I hope that if they did a 3D 2D thing, they would not like wash out the style too much because it had a specific style to it that was really charming.
Hmm.
yeah, I would hope they wouldn't just slap a lighting engine on it and that's it.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they've done
exactly,
pretty
like-
good though.
Oh yeah. Well, fingers crossed.
mhm.
Yeah.
Crossed. Anyway, I think that's all the news we have for today.
Xenoblade's crossed.
It is.
Xenoblade.
We went enough on a rampage.
Yeah, keep your Xenoblades crossed.
I mean, you didn't just come here from the news. You could look that up anywhere. So, like, we're
Exactly.
here to provide the commentary.
And by now it's pretty old, so yeah.
Some of it.
Some
yeah.
of it, yeah. But yeah, anyway, thanks for chatting with me tonight, and yeah, thanks everybody for joining and for everyone listening, and have a good night.
Have a good
Take care,
night.
guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye.